So, one of the most important thing about when you're bike camping is of course your camp and your shelter. Pretty much this tent is, well, it was cheap back in 2018. It's a Nature Hike Cloud Up 2, a two-person copy of a more famous American-made model. It's 1.6 kilos, so not bad. A pretty basic tent, but it works. And point is, like, if you have a tent and you want to try bikepacking and it's something that isn't the size of a full-size bed and doesn't weigh as much as a baby, you can pretty much put it on a bike and it should work for you. And if you start liking bikepacking, you can go for a lighter and smaller and more packable tent. Before the mat or pad, two very enjoyable things at camp. A camp hat, because it's dry and you look fly, and hydration. Hydration is important and you can enjoy everything you want as long as it's legal in the place you are. So, the mat. This is my first camping mat. I think I bought it in 2014. So yeah, 10 years. It's an Alp kit. It's a self-inflatable, so it's a hybrid. It's like a mix with an airbag, which are the light and small, but can have a puncture and then you're not gonna sleep. Or the basic cell phone mats that are big and chunky, but pretty much indestructible. So this is self-inflating, so you can open the valve and it's gonna puff by itself. It's okay if you're a back sleeper, but I'm a side sleeper, so I've been normally using air inflatable mats because they give more cushion and are better for side sleepers. But I did just fine with 2 years with this. It's bulky, it's cheap, it was like maybe 40 euros. So no need to go and buy a 300 euro Hermes one because it's nice and packed small and it's light. So here's a sleeping bag. It's not an expensive one. You can see that this is a summer bag, so its comfort is to 14 degrees. The limit is 10 degrees Celsius, and the extreme where you don't get hypothermic is -1. This is a pretty good example of a cheaper synthetic bag. As with anything, this will work during the summertime, and during the summertime is the easiest way to try bikepacking because, well, it's summer, it's hot, it's nice. Freedom! The sleeping bag is open. As you can see, there's no baffles, so this is a synthetic bag. The main differences in traditional down and synthetic components is mostly that synthetic will keep you warm or warmish even if it would be wet, and down, when it gets wet, it loses its heating potential. So, but then the pack size and the weight in down is always smaller or less. But then another option for a sleeping bag in the synthetic world is a quilt. So that's like a blanket. And as a modern synthetic quilt, like an Apex 200, that will keep you okay until like -2 Celsius against Americans. Google it. It's around 600 grams, 550 depending on the overload material. And the down sleeping bags can go all the way to like 400, 500 grams and pack super small. But then again, if you have a synthetic bag that you use on a festival or something, just take it with your trip. No need to like spend a lot of money on a new bag before you get totally hooked into being outside with mosquitoes. This little thing that was under the seat, strapped with 2 boiler straps or any straps, is a cheap 5-liter dry bag, and it has 2 functions. First, it holds for the cooler night a 90s fleece jacket, a Marin Bikes fleece jacket, and a pair of wool socks and a buff for those cooler nights. But also it works as a camping pillow, because I gotta say, if you don't want to spend 40 euros into a camping pillow from the store, you can just fill up a bag, or actually a pillow liner from home with like big puffy clothes, like a down jacket. But I highly recommend getting a camping pillow. It helps a lot with the good sleep, at least for me as a side sleeper. When you're gonna be outdoors for a long time, even in a warm summer night, as at least here in Finland, it's nice to have something warm to put on, like this 90s fleece jacket. And also in the bag we have a merino buff. This is nice to put on your head if you feel cold in the night, and a fresh pair of wool socks, because you lose heat from your feet, and if it's gonna be a cooler night than your sleeping bag rating, a pair of wool socks will help a lot. So the next little bag of many things is pretty much the things you might need and might not. So this has my small repair kit, because this is a close overnighter to home. We're only 25 kilometers away from home. In miles, multiply that by 1.6. So this has a spare tube, a patch kit, a really traditional multi-tool, tire levers, and a plier multi-tool, you know, the Letterman kinds. Then it also holds my hygiene kit. So a toothbrush, toothpaste, my small EA kit that has mostly different bandages, cleaning cloths and stuff, toilet paper, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, we got our shelter or spare clothes, and then the best thing about bike camping or bike packing is eating and staying hydrated. So I have here a cheap stainless steel bottle that works as a drinking bottle and also as my cooking pot. I just put this on the fire without the lid, because that's gonna boom out of it. Happened once, nobody got hurt. And pretty much you don't need to buy a kettle or a pot. Pretty handy, cheap, and works well when with a fire. Or other ways of cooking. I have a aluminium can here, and you can look online for instructions how to make a can into a stove that use alcohol that you can buy from a gas station and cook your food with it. Other methods are using a gas stove or a wood stove, a gasoline stove, and yeah, that's pretty much it maybe. But yeah, but because it's summer, we are not gonna need any stove today. We are gonna have a cool meal I'm gonna show you soon. So we are now in the kitchen, We are in Vääräjärvi, which is Finnish for wrong lake, camping area in Nuuksi National Park in Espoo, in the Helsinki metropolitan area. And well, we have a fireplace, and there's probably firewood that is provided by the state. Not so lucky now, America. But yeah. So for cooking, this is a plastic tray from takeaway, which I could put noodles on, pour hot water, some tofu, coriander, whatever you want. I let it simmer and eat from this. So no need to buy a tea mug, but a tea mug is really handy. Or an aluminium one. It just makes it easy. But if you don't want, use a plastic tray with a lid. And inside we have a lighter, a store model, fancy. Then we have a small pocket knife. This is a French Opinel number 8. It's cheap and it's nice. It comes in many colors. It's about 15 euros. You can use a Swiss Army knife if you want, or a Bowie knife, but this is packable. And then we have a mug, because you can pour your liquid in the mug and drink it from there and be a bit more classy. For today, we are not cooking with fire or heating anything, so we have a pita bread, and we're gonna put inside some coriander, or in Spanish, cilantro. We have some chorizo. We got a nice little cucumber, a tomato, some French brie, that's cheese, and fresh pesto. And for breakfast, we have a bacon and Gouda roll. So no fire, he's doing, let's start cooking. Yay! That was a nice pita bread. Gonna finish this little hydrating drink, enjoy the sunset, and then head into my humble abode or tent. There's something really nice when you leave after work for a brief little overnighter to your local nature area, or wherever you want to go. Just don't overthink it. It's like, put it on a calendar, like this day after work, I'm going. And if you want to make it easier, you go with a friend. These between workday overnighters are, like the French put it, facilité, fraternité, equalité. Accessibility, equality, and brotherhood, or peoplehood these days. Pretty much, you have a bike, you can put stuff on it with straps. Well, you can even tape your stuff on it if you want, but I recommend the basic webbing strap or a ski strap. If you have a rack, just put your backpack or a big dry bag on it. Put your top below your top tube, your tent, and then just a little cheap dry bag below the seat. Go out, try it, and if you love it, you might find out that using more purpose designed gear, let's say bikepacking bags, panniers, just make things a little bit easier and maybe a bit more secure in a way, like your bumpy trails and stuff, and not everything is gonna be like going rattle. So there's no point, if you have never tried, to put hundreds of dollars into gear that you're gonna use once. But I'm pretty sure you have some basic camping gear. It might not be pretty, light, or media sexy, but if it works, take them with you, go to the woods and ride out like we are gonna do, because it's 6:20 in the morning and I think we and the cameraman have a work day ahead. So we get like 2 hours to get back our homes and start working. But after waking up in this beautiful surrounding of birds singing and the golden hour hitting at 4 o'clock in the morning here in Finland, it was just totally worth the 4 hours sleep that I got. So stay wild, ride on, and remember, bikes are made for fun.